Okay, so let's get started because we have about an hour together. I think that the total time is an hour and a half, but I'm sure that we will probably get to all of your questions within an hour or so. It's a pleasure to spend this afternoon with all of you. My name is Anita Manuel, and on behalf of the Career Center team, I'd like to welcome you to this session and to campus virtually for today. I serve as the interim director for the Career Center, and I'm also the Associate Director for Career Education, which means that I have the privilege of leading our career counseling team. I don't know if any of you know this now, but you will at the end of this session. Each of you actually have access to your own personal career counselor, career coach. So that's really helpful once you get on campus. And I'm going to be joined in our session today by Christine Bautista, who is our senior career counselor and works specifically with students in the first year and in transition. And she'll probably pop back on at some point and you'll get to see her. And why don't we get started and give you some information about what we do. So Christine, she's going to be driving today. And just to give you an overview, a lot of students' first question is, where is the Career Center and what exactly do y'all do? Okay, so the Career Center is a team of professional career counselors, educators, and also employer development specialists who work with top employers, not only in Silicon Valley, but across the nation and now globally. And we really are dedicated to helping connect students with experiences, opportunities, and then internships and jobs as they navigate their time here at SJSU. We help you explore your career options, which also includes exploring majors. We help you develop a career plan and then support you through the process of figuring out what it is that you're curious about, what types of internships or experiences you'd like to test out, and then also how to tell your personal story, how to showcase all the great achievements and skills and learning that you're going to develop during your time at SJSU to future employers. We also help you find those specific employers. So we're going to show you today some of the resources we have. Behind me is, you can see in my background, our Career Center apps. We have a lot of apps or applications that can help you do this process of connecting with employers, jobs, and internships. And the goal is to ensure that you have enough time to work on all of these different types of experiences before you graduate. So that is kind of our mission and what we're here to do. Next slide, please. And I should state, I forgot to set some ground rules here, but if you have any questions as we're talking, you can feel free to use the Q&A and just drop, there's a little Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And then what we'll do is at the end of our talk here, we'll go through those questions and answer them directly. One thing that it's helpful to understand is how we organize the services and resources that we offer. And we use what's called a career development model. So the first piece of what you're going to do when you start exploring is explore your options. So that's the first step. And if you can click on this slide really quick for me, thank you. And what this involves is working with us to help do some self-assessment of yourself. So when you're trying to make some decisions about whether it's a major, what you want to make of your college of experience, what kinds of classes you want to take, what types of internships to pursue, it's really important to start with, well, who are you? What are you curious about? What about your personality and natural preferences would you like to align with that plan that you want to design? What are your key interests? What skills do you want to build while you're here? And then what are your values? What's most important to you in designing a meaningful life and career? So that's where we like to start with all students, is taking some time to think about those key questions. Then we help you do the research, exploring majors, career pathways, trends in the different marketplaces. And from there, we start making a plan and some decisions about what to do next. The second phase of our services and resources fall around building skills and experiences. So once you identify some of those top skills that you think you want to get out of your courses here, and also based on what you think the different careers you might want to pursue are, asking for. Then we help you kind of curate what types of experiences are going to get you those skills. And it could be anything from class projects, it could be leadership activities in clubs and organizations, it could be volunteer work, it could be your part-time job on campus, as of course, in addition to internships, which most students know is something they'd like to pursue before they graduate. And then the third component is really getting to connect with a network of mentors and professionals. So we actually work closely with our alumni and bring back alumni mentors to connect with students so they can actually get real world conversations about what a career or day in the life is really like, and have some time to really explore before you make a final decision about pursuing a particular career path. And then the last set of services fall under the term launch your career or launch. And that's where you're actively applying for jobs and internships. We'll talk about our database Handshake, in which we have thousands of internships and jobs that are open to SJSU students. We help you develop your professional brand. That's your resume, your LinkedIn profile, an online portfolio. And then we help you activate and grow the professional network, because most jobs are actually secured through your network. In addition to some of the postings that you see online, that's a great start, but really a lot of the securing of a position is typically done through a network. So we really help you develop that professional network. Okay, so that's kind of the framework so you understand the rest of the services and resources we're going to talk about are going to fall in this framework. And then next slide, please. And then as you're exploring your options, this is just a reminder of who the professional team members are. You'll get to work with each one of these individuals based on the career, industry, or pathway that you're interested in. So as you can see next to each one of our counselors' names is either a population that they specialize in, like diverse students or graduate students, or an industry where they have expertise in. So for example, arts, communication, entertainment, business, logistics, financial services, health, nutrition, and fitness. And it's not necessarily according to major, because not every career requires a specific major. You could actually be majoring, let's say, in business, but want to work for a high-tech company, right? So you might want to have access to different types of counselors based on their industry experience. And you can connect with our career counselors through one-on-one appointments, and we'll talk about the system in which you can schedule those appointments once you arrive at SJSU. Next slide, please. And here I think I'm going to pass it off to my colleague to tell you about where you can find these resources.
Hey, thank you so much, Anita. Again, welcome to those who just joined us. My name is Christine Bautista. I'm Senior Career Counselor. So in addition to helping students who are interested in education and careers in public service, I'm also the point person for first-year students who are undeclared, freshmen in general, or transfer students. So once you join SJSU, please feel free to connect with me. So as Anita had mentioned, we provide a lot of support and services to our students. We offer both virtual and in-person appointments, one-on-one sessions. So if you go to the career coaching section of our website, you learn how to connect with us. You can send an email to the counselor, or you can find your counselor on Spartan Connect, which is basically the system that's used by the Career Center as well as the Success Center. So if you need to meet with a counselor or an advisor, that is the system that you use. So in community college, I think the counselor does everything. They both do academic and career planning. In a four-year university setting, those functions are separate. So we help with career counseling, with your career planning, and academic advisors would help with your academic plan. We also offer virtual workshops. The topics could include job fair success, resume networking, informational interview, job internship search, and more. We have started again to do exploring majors and exploring careers workshop for those who are interested, in fall. And we also offer virtual fairs and information sessions. So we have a lot of job fairs. There's a slide that I'll share shortly that shows the kinds of fairs that we offer in a semester. So if you want to connect with us, the best starting point is our website. We have a wealth of information available to you even now, even if you're not yet enrolled, you can already, go to our website, look at our resources. We have live chat. So if you are interested to talk to someone, if you have like a quick question, our live chat is available Mondays to Thursdays, 9 to 5 p.m. and on Fridays, 9 to 12. And then we have a break in between. And then it is offered again 1 to 4 on Fridays. The hours might change during the summer, but the hours that you see right now are the hours that we generally offer during the regular semesters. You can find resources on major and career exploration, resume, cover letter, building career experience networking, interview preparation, and more. So we also have resources. This is a screenshot of our website. You will also find resources offered based on the career developmental model that Anita had shared earlier. So this is just what the live chat icon looks like. So please feel free to connect. So Anita mentioned Handshake earlier. So what is Handshake? But before I talk about Handshake, I actually want to point out, so this is our website, right? Like if you click on resources and hover actually on the word resources, you'll see all of the career apps that are available to you 24/7. The main app that I'll be talking about today is SJSU Handshake. So Handshake is the online database for career opportunities that's exclusive to SJSU students. So what that basically means is if I'm an employer on the back end, I select which universities I want to promote my opportunities to. And so if you see an opportunity on Handshake, it means that the employer has selected to promote their opportunities to Spartans. There are full-time, part-time internships on campus, work-study opportunities that are on Handshake. You can sort, through different ways and filter by major, job type, location, keywords, and more. You can also follow and register for employer and industry events. So right now, current postings, there's about 6,700 internships. There's about 21,800 full-time jobs, and about 6,600 of the opportunities are remote. So there's in-person, there's remote opportunities. So it's a good resource if you're looking for opportunities once you are on board at San Jose State. Additional resources for new students. We talked about Handshake again. There's job postings. In addition to job postings, there's an events tab where you can connect with employers. So some of our employers hosts information sessions, so you can attend those virtually. Right now, it's still virtual. Some may be in person in the future, where you can connect with employers, learn about who they are, what they do, and how you might, potentially apply for an opportunity with them. There's also like other campus partners that post community events through Handshake. So it's a good resource. We also have Focus 2, which is an online self-assessment of personality preferences and interests related to majors at SJSU and career options. So if you are coming in to San Jose undeclared, or you're declared but still unsure and want to see if there's like other majors you could explore, Focus 2 is a great assessment tool that you could use to help you explore opportunities that are fit to you based on your preferences. So I would recommend, once you're on board and enrolled, you have access to Focus 2, take this online assessment and connect with your career counselor so you could further discuss, your results and what your possible options are. We also have SJSU Square, which is an online mentoring program where you can connect with alumni and professionals to explore career options and build a network. So you can either participate in a professional mentoring program. So those folks, that's really for folks who already know what they want to do and they need, a mentor to help them launch their careers. But we also have on this platform, quick connections, where you're basically connecting with an alumni mentor to learn more about, maybe what they did with their major, how they got started in their career. If you're just exploring, that would be a good option. We will also have some events for new students. So pre-pandemic, we hosted a career carnival, which is a very fun event to kick off the school year. And I think we are going to have that back again this fall. So we're pretty excited. So you get to meet the counselors, you get to have free food, and you get to have prizes. It's a fun event. Our part-time job fair is usually the first fair that kicks off the semester. You can connect with on and off campus employers who are hiring for part-time and internship positions. We also have the Leadership and Career Conference, where you can connect with employers and alumni to develop leadership and career readiness skills. Let me move on. So this is just an example. Again, our fairs have been virtual, and I expect them to be primarily virtual in the fall. We're still working on the schedule, so I'm just showing you what it looked like for spring for us, this spring 22. So these are examples of the fairs that were held. We had the part-time job fair, we have the business and internship fair, we have the STEM undergraduate fair, we had the STEM graduate fair, we had the health and human services job fair, we had the education and public service fair, and we had the late spring job fair, which was actually held or happening at this moment as we're speaking, which is our last fair for spring 22. So we offer a lot of opportunities for students to connect with employers. So I think we're at the end of our presentation. At this point, I'd like to ask for your participation. So you could type your answer in the chat and let me know what you think. So there's a statement here, and let me know what your answer is. Building professional experience starts after you graduate. Do you think that's a fact or a myth? So you can just type fact or myth or F or M for your answer in the chat. I'm curious what you guys think. So I'm seeing a lot of folks saying it's a myth. And it is definitely a myth. Thank you for participating. As you have seen, Anita had mentioned earlier, right? Like you can already start building experience, as soon as you join San Jose State, right? So I'm glad that people got that. This is another review question. Which resource does the SJSU Career Center provide? Exploring majors, job and internship search, resume and cover letter, or interviewing practice? And this might be a kind of a trick question. The answer might not necessarily be here. What do you guys think? Yes, all of the above, definitely. So as I mentioned, for exploring majors, we have a guide, we have Focus 2, you can connect with me or any of the counselors of your chosen career path to discuss what your assessment results may be. We have job and internship search guides. You can talk to your career counselor how to create your own plan or strategy. We have resume and cover letter guides. We also have VMOC that does resume review. And we also have interviewing practice. So you could schedule a mock interview with the counselor, or you could use Big Interview, which is an online practice tool. So if you have any career-related questions, please reach out to careerhelp@sjsu.edu. If you need a quick answer, if you're navigating our website and trying to remember, Christine or Anita showed us where to find this, but I don't remember, please use the live chat, and our representatives will be there to help you navigate and help you find the answers. We are located at the administration building, room 255. When you are with us at San Jose State, we hope you can come and visit us in person. If you have your phone set, I don't know what device you're using right now, but if you want to just take a moment and take a picture of this QR code, so you can connect with us through Linktree. I'll give you a few seconds.
And then someone had typed in the chat, if we can send the link through chat. Which link were you referring to? I think we shared a couple. So Miranda, if you could just clarify the link that you're referring to, if it's
The website, are you referring to the
website
website or the,
I'll just type the website in.
okay. The slide before this one. Oh, okay, so let's see, let's go back. Oops,
Our website.
let me go back here. So yeah, it's the
There you
website.
go. And then career help, I'll type that in.
Okay, we can do that for you. Thank you, Anita.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay, and then just some reminders, admitted Spartan days is days. So you probably started on Saturday, it's gonna end this Friday. So there are other sessions, please make sure to join them, register for those, or watch the recordings. They should be posted on the website. And then if you have any questions for on-campus tours, pre-admission counseling, next steps, please connect with sjsu.edu SOAR. And then if you have any questions about the admitted Spartan days, please connect to an email admittedspartan@sjsu.edu. So are there any questions?
Yes,
I think there
Christine,
are. Okay, let's.
There are. So
let me just
I
stop sharing
typed some
and
answers
talk
to
about
a few of them, but I'm going to answer a good number of these live because I think they pertain to a lot of people. So we're going to start off with the first question we received, and that is, would you recommend to graduate fast and get a job or delay graduation date by joining a club and program while in college? So that's a really good question. And the answer is it depends on what your goals are. It also depends on what the economy and market is like when you're planning to graduate. So we have a couple different strategies based on where you are. So that's kind of trying to predict the future a little bit. What I would say is you can actually still graduate on time and still join a club or take part in an internship while doing a full load. And part of that is that a lot of the clubs and organizations, or even if you work part-time on campus, those experiences are very similar to internships and the fact that you're actually practicing top transferable skills that employers seek, which would be oral communication skills, written communication skills, leadership, critical thinking or problem solving, teamwork and collaboration, and then diversity and cultural competence. So we are probably one of the most diverse campuses in this region. And the beauty of that is that you will get to interact with a lot of different people, diverse thoughts, diverse experiences, not just, cultural background or ethnicity, but from life experience across, really broad strokes. So it's possible to build those things into your school day, so to speak, and not necessarily feel like you have to do just academics first and then experiences later. And that's what would be really great about a career counseling appointment. Let's say you schedule an appointment with Christine to talk about this topic. She would then ask you some really specific questions about what your goals are, the types of things that you're interested in, what types of careers you imagined you might wanted to do. And then there's like, I don't know, Christine, how many clubs and orgs are on campus? Like 400 or something? Like hundreds.
Hundreds, yes.
And clubs. So then helping you navigate all that information and determine which one of these orgs or experiences would really connect with what my career goals are going to be. And then the next step is, and now once you do that, how are we going to help you update your resume and your LinkedIn profile to showcase all the great things that you did in that experience, which becomes your marketing tool, right, to employers. So that's kind of how we would navigate that. Hopefully that answered your question. So I would say honestly, I don't think there's a rush to graduate early. I think try this. This is your time to experiment and try everything, right? And so I would really take advantage of those times, because once you graduate, it's also very hard to go back and do some of the student experiences like travel abroad, for example, or an internship experience because you have to be a student to get an internship or have student status, right? So those are some things that we would recommend trying before you graduate. Second question, where and how do students register for Handshake? This is a great question. You do not need to register for Handshake. So every student, once they're matriculated, meaning once you've registered for classes, you will be imported into the Handshake system. So you will automatically have access in an account. And all of the Career Center tools are what we call single sign-on. So you'll have something called one.sjsu, which is basically a portal where you can access all the different platforms that the university offers. And you'll use your Tower Card ID number and your own password that you log into any one of these systems to access Handshake. So there is no need to go to Handshake website and create a whole new account. Once you're a registered student, you'd go to the Handshake link on our website, and there's a single sign-on option. Sometimes it's called SSO. You click on that and it will automatically ask you for your student ID and your password associated with that student ID. Okay. Next question. And I'm gonna start punting them to Christine so that I can take a sip of water really quick. So Christine, is it possible to hold both an internship and a part-time job?
That is a good question. Yes, you can. You can. I think, well, it depends on where you're doing it, right? I think for if you have an on-campus job, I don't know that you can do both in one here, right? Because I think for students, you're only allowed to work on campus like 20 hours. But if you had like one on-campus job, for example, and then you had an internship off campus, I think you should be able to do that. And that's true for those that have work authorization. I don't know if we have any international students in the audience. If you are an international student, there are different law policies, I guess, like in terms of your work authorization status. So you would need to consult with ISSS. So that's a little different for our international student friends. But for those that are authorized to work in the United States, you should be able to do both. Would I advise that you do both? I think it depends on the internship, because you want to be reminded that the primary reason you're here is your academics, right? So those experiences, your part-time job and internship should be complementary to that academic experience, and you don't want to burn yourself out, right? So it's possible.
Yeah,
it can happen.
I agree. And I think sometimes what's underlying this question that we get a lot from students is, well, I need to work part-time to pay my bills and to like survive. And I don't have time to then do an internship on top of that, which makes complete sense. One thing that we want students to realize is 99% of the internships that are posted in Handshake, and just so you know, every opportunity and employer who wants to post in the database for our students, we vet. So we ensure that it's not a fraudulent employer. We ensure that the positions that they're posting are paid for, and there's an exception to that, but most of those positions are paid and at least minimum wage, which here is in San Jose, at least is now $17 or something like that. So the positions are paid quite well. So if you're trying to choose between a part-time job that might not be related to your major or an internship that is related to your major and is paid, I'm probably going to say do the internship because it would still be paid and hopefully meet some of those financial needs. Now, the challenge to that is if you're wanting to work for maybe like a nonprofit or some government agencies that may not offer paid internships, or maybe they offer a stipend, then we need to look at some other opportunities to ensure that you're able to be financially stable as well. And so that's where we would want to work with you on adjusting your hours. So maybe it's a part-time internship at 10 hours a week and a part-time job at 10 hours a week, which would still allow you to have some flexibility with your scholastics, still make some, necessary income, but at the same time, not overwhelm yourself with being stretched too thin. Good questions. Next question is the part-time job fair just in the fall semester or all semester? So the sample of job fairs that we showed you, we do both semesters. So we typically host 16 job fairs a year and usually about 8 each semester. The only job fairs that we only host on one semester is we host a diversity career fair, and that's just in the fall. And then we have hosted a health and human service fair, and that's typically just in the spring. And why that's the case is because the employers, hospitals, and different nonprofits and government who are seeking the students for those majors prefer recruiting in the spring, whereas most of all of our other employers recruit both fall and spring. The part-time fair we host both semesters. And that includes on-campus jobs as well. All right, I'm going to pass the next one off to Christine. Are internships and services available for DREAM students as well? Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. We have a designated career counselor. Her name is Sandra De Leon, so she can help you out, like if you have any questions about how to navigate the job search process. So the short answer is yes. We encourage you to connect with Sandra so that you can have that. We also have a guide on our website for students who are interested to know how to navigate the process.
Yes, I will look for the link for our Dream Center as well.
Mm-hmm.
Pop that in for additional access.
I can answer the next one.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to type an answer.
Are there any required documents like FAFSA needed for part-time on-campus work or work-study programs? So as long as you have been deemed eligible by the financial aid office that you are eligible for work-study, then you should be fine. Your job would then be to go on Handshake, look for opportunities that are work-study, and there is a way to filter that on Handshake, like you can select the work-study filter. So if you are eligible for financial aid, please note that it does not guarantee employment, right? So you would still need to apply for the opportunities and for work-study roles. And then the next question is, how can we book an appointment with our career counselor? So I think I might have typed in the, what do you call this, the link earlier on the pathways. So it's listed there. Let me just try that again in case you missed it. But you can find your counselor based on your interest area, and it's mapped out in that guide. So you could do that, or you could use Spartan Connect, or which is a system that you would be able to access once you are enrolled, and you'd be able to set up an appointment with either a career counselor or academic advisor. And then next question is, where will this be posted? I'm not sure if you're meaning the recording of this event. Admitted Spartan Days will, I think it will be posted on the Admitted Spartan Days website.
It's on their webpage.
Yeah, it will be on their web page. I think it might take a couple of days because we would have to convert the recording and then upload, but it should be there. And that's true for all of the other events that will be offered. What are the minimum hours for a part-time job at SJSU? Anita, do you want to answer that?
Sure, I'm just getting the Admittance Spartan Days webpage. Okay, so in the chat, I'm just putting the webpage for Admittance Spartan Days. And when you go back to that page, and I would save this page or bookmark it, because any session that you attend in the next couple of days, all the recordings will be posted there as well. Okay, now, I'm sorry, what was the question? Minimum hours for internships?
For a part-time job at SJSU.
Oh, part-time job. So I think 20 hours is the max that you can work on campus. And then the minimum, I think 5 is probably the lowest I've ever seen. So that would be the range. We hire student assistants in our office, and we typically ask for 15 hours a week. And that seems to be the average across campus. Just so you know, work study comes up a lot. So if you were allotted a work study grant, what that means is that you've been given financial aid, a certain amount, which will be stated in your letter somewhere. I think you can access that through my SJSU. That would allow you to take on certain jobs on campus that are labeled work study. And in Handshake, you can actually search by that keyword. So you would just type in work study, it's a label for jobs. And so those positions that have been deemed work study or can accept that type of financial aid as a way of you earning those dollars, right, through the work that you do on campus. Those positions are probably the ones that go fastest on campus. So if you know that you want to ensure that you get a work study position, and there are a good number of them across departments on campus, the minute you get access, like you're enrolled in courses, you have access to Handshake, you log in, do a search, the job title would be work study, and then all of the open work study positions will be posted at that time. Most of them do require that you submit a resume. So if you've never written a resume before, maybe Christine, you can put our resume and cover letter guide in the chat. You can just take a quick look at that. And then also a lot of the positions on campus are looking for anyone who might have an interest in customer service, ability to maybe do some administrative work. And so if you have any of those experiences, or you led a club or a member of a club or an organization, or did a team sport in high school, any of those things you can actually list on your resume just to showcase some of those skills that would be really easily transferable to some of the direct service, customer service types of positions that we have for students on campus. Thanks, Christine. Christine just put in the chat our guide, and we have several guides, and the guides are free and accessible to students now. So any PDF on our website you can access now. You can review those templates and examples. The only things that you would not have immediate access to until you enroll are all the applications that we mentioned, like the VMOC resume instant critique app, or SJSU Squared, which is our mentoring program where you get directly connected with mentors in industry. Are there any other questions, Christine?
Yes, there's a question here. Are there many internships for CS majors?
Oh,
very specific.
Tons. So I guess I should just give you an idea. So right now we have, I think, close to 4,000 internships open at the moment, and they're across all majors. And then for full-time jobs, I think I just looked in the system and there's 12,000 opportunities that are posted right now. That's a lot of opportunities. Most internships, employers are starting to look in the fall to recruit for either summer internships or internships that can start in the spring. So you'll find that a lot, especially for the computer science, the STEM, our fall, we have a STEM undergrad fair, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. And we also have one for graduate students. That one tends to have the highest level of internship opportunities for that area. And the same thing for business. That's not to say that there are not opportunities now. In fact, we have a job fair today that we're running right now, virtually online, and we have 55 employers attending that. And I would say 40% of the positions are actually internships. And they're open again to all majors across industries. So it's also, the social sciences, psychology, social work, counseling, education, government and public policy, environmental science, health science, and then of course your computer sciences and your business related positions, and marketing and PR are also big too.
Yeah, the next question.
The next one's you.
Yeah, as an international student, can I start my CPT from the first semester, or I have to wait at least a year? So there are eligibility requirements. I'm going to post the link that I saw from ISSS. So I would recommend that you familiarize yourself. I believe it's usually like after you've completed 2 semesters. But double check, read the eligibility, connect with ISSS if you have any questions about that.
I'm answering
I think, Anita, you're answering the other question. So I'll answer the next one. So the next question is, for internships, what are the minimum hours? So that'll be set by whoever is hiring you. So it'll be dependent on the employer, on what their needs are. So some are part-time, some are full-time. How many hours is probably going to be dependent on what the employer's needs are. So it's kind of hard to say, the exact number, because it will depend on the employer and, type of like opportunities in that internship. And then the next question is, does being a resident advisor or RA count as work study, or does it cover the cost for room and board? That is a good question. I'm not familiar with what the salary package is.
We're gonna research that.
Yeah, we have to look into that a little bit more.
Do you want me to look at the RA while you go into the next one?
Yeah, maybe that might help. And let me see, what is the next question here? So, are there any internships for nursing or anything that's part of the medical field? So usually for programs that require internships, your department would also have like a list of pre-approved sites. So nursing probably would be one of them, because the site has to meet specific eligibility requirements, right? So for majors that require internships, usually, like departments usually have their own sites that they work with that you can apply to. But in addition to that, you will find other internships or part-time jobs that could help you gain experience, but may not necessarily count towards what's being required to your program, right? So there's a lot of opportunities that's also posted on Handshake. So if you're doing both, connect with your department first for the site approved internships. But if you feel like you need additional experience, you can find opportunities on Handshake as well.
I'm going to just interject. So for the housing RA question, one, I put the link directly to one of the housing RA applications in the chat and also in the Q&A. It does look like room, board, and meal plan is part of that compensation package. Okay.
I can answer the next question. Okay. Based on your experience with employers, do they care about GPA?
That's a good one.
That is a good question. It depends on the employer. It depends on the type of the employer. Like if you're applying for like a more academic position, like research roles, research assistant, or that kind of stuff, they probably care about GPA, right? But some employers, like, maybe you're not, maybe your GPA is close to 3.0, but if you don't have the 3.0 exactly, but your resume sort of explains why, like maybe you're doing two jobs, right, on top of going to school, or maybe you have already an internship and a part-time job, like that sort of explains why you're splitting your time in different commitments. Some employers are more open and understanding to that. So again, it depends on the opportunity that you're seeking, but I would say for the more academic roles, more research based, like they probably are more particular about GPA. But other opportunities, as long as you're able to explain why you might not have the desired GPA, like if you have the desired skill set, they'll probably hire you for that. And I've actually heard this from employers, right? They'd rather hire someone who has like a 2.9 GPA, but has a lot of experience, is active in class, active in school, has a lot of community involvement, than someone who is a 4.0, but just focused on their academics. So again, that's dependent on the employer.
I will say there is a trend though for employers to not necessarily focus so much on GPA, but to the experiences that Christine was talking about, especially if students are working jobs and on top of going to school. And then, life happens. Like sometimes, like Christine said, there's a reason why your GPA went down one semester, but then it pops up the next. So I would say that the industries that really are still holding pretty hard to GPAs would be finance, banking, accounting, like anything related to CPA. They do really look more on the GPA requirements, usually at least a 3.0. And then for some of the engineering, especially software, computer science, there's still a trend towards having some GPA requirements for certain internships. The rest of the various fields tend to be a little bit more flexible on that and really more interested in why you'd like to apply for the internship, how it might benefit your career, and then also what some of your experiences might be that help you share some of those skills that Christine mentioned earlier. Next question, what can I do to have a better chance of securing an internship? So that's a great question. And I think the first question is to ask you as a student, like, why do you want an internship, or what type of experience do you want, right? So there's so many different career pathways that exist, and there's going to be new ones that we don't even know about in the next 4 years, right? Because job titles are constantly changing because the world of work is constantly changing. So I think the best advice I can give to stand out from the pack when looking for an internship is to understand yourself really well. Like, I really would like to get an experience regarding sustainability and environmentalism, because I'm personally passionate about the, well-being of our earth. And also I think it's an existential issue, right? And I've been passionate about this since high school. Like, I was part of our recycling club, and I read articles about global warming. And so now that I'm at San Jose State and I'm exploring different courses, and I took my first environmental studies class, I realized, oh my gosh, there's actually a profession for this. And so that's why I'm looking at maybe some internships related to this field. So if you come to one of our career counseling appointments sharing that, then let's say it's myself or Christine would be able to say, that's wonderful. Let's look together in the database in a handshake, and let's first do some searches by some of these key areas. So you can start by keywords, find the companies and organizations that are like-minded to you, and then identify what those internship opportunities look like. You won't know exactly what they're expecting until you read the job descriptions. That internship description, students who actually read what the employer is asking for and then put together some time to think about their experiences and why they think they connect to those things, and then can put them in a resume. And again, we can help you with all of this, right? Like in a one-on-one appointment, or we come to the classroom a lot too and do these exercises. That piece, if you spend enough time on the thought of that, your application is going to be awesome. And then that really speaks to an employer more so than someone who's just sending a bunch of resumes to every single internship open because they're so desperate to just get that opportunity. But what's missing is the why. Why is this important to you? So I know it sounds a little bit broad, but that to me, the candidates that stand out are the ones that actually care enough to take the time to read through the different opportunities and the positions and say, hey, that resonates with me and here's why. I don't know, Christine, do you have any other tips on that?
Yeah, I think related to that, I think that's why it's really important to get to know who you are, right? I think college is about learning who you are, what you like. And so you want to start with that so that you can actually explain why you're interested in those opportunities, right? So I think there's 2 questions about paths for psychology after, or an internship. And there are opportunities. It depends on what area you want to apply yourself. Psychology is a field that allows you to develop different types of skills, so you can apply yourself in different industries. So you can go to human services, which is the example illustrated here, right? Like marriage and family therapy, or counseling. You can go into business, you can go into education. So it really depends on, I think instead of asking what can I do with this major, I think it might be more helpful, what do I want to do with this major, right? because there's a lot of opportunities depending on what you want to do. So I'm not quite sure about the last question that I'm seeing here.
Let's see, it says in marketing employers, please, and marketing students. So I think maybe the statement is that, are there, marketing related employers? So I think this goes back to what Christina is saying, like major doesn't actually equal career. So what you want to think about is if you're, let's say, a marketing major, why did you pick marketing? Like, what is it about that particular topic or field that you are curious about? If it's psychology, why did you pick psychology? Like, and the answer can be as simple as like, because I didn't want to do computer science. Like, it doesn't have to be profound, but you have to start thinking about why that particular topic, piques your curiosity. Because as you learn more about like, the realm of marketing, maybe it's just like, I like the idea of being in a business environment, trying to figure out how to get people interested in a particular topic, product, widget, like it's something about that process of connecting people with a business or people with an item or people with a product. That is intriguing to me for some reason. Okay, so that's a perfectly good place to start, because the next question will be, so what kind of things, what products are you really passionate about? Well, I really am excited about, like, I do gaming. I love gaming. I would love to do marketing for a gaming organization. I don't know what that looks like, but I know that those two things are interesting to me. Great, let's start with gaming. Okay, let's look at the gaming companies and the types of internships they have. You may find out that you're interested in like a user experience internship, like UX design, but you would have never looked at that if you just looked at marketing, right? So do you have to be a UX design major to do UX design? No, you could be a marketing major and do that, right? There's very few careers where you have to have the specific major to enter that career path. In fact, I don't know how many people we have left, but of the 47 people, like, let's do an experiment in the chat. Tell me what careers you know of require that you have a specific major to get into that career. Like, just think about it. Like, what do I know, or what have I heard? Like, you have to have this major to get into that career. And just type in some careers or job titles that you think I have to have a okay, lawyer's one. Not necessarily. You don't have to have a specific major to be an attorney. Doctor. Doctor, no. Did you know the highest, most popular major among doctors, and we're talking undergrad, right, is English. English is the most popular major that physicians majored in undergrad. Do you have to go to medical school to be a doctor? Yes, but that's like 3 phases away from now, right? You'd have to actually figure after your undergrad that you'd want to go to medical school. And at that point, you'd have to apply to medical school, but you could apply to medical school with an English degree. Let's see. Film, nope, don't have to major in film to be. Architect, not necessarily, but if you want to be a practicing architect, you might have to have a license, especially for contracts within city or government. So there is a licensing procedure there for sure. Software engineers, all of the engineering, not necessarily. So we know a lot of engineers who did not start as majors in engineering, but technically just have to learn the languages, right? Like, so if it's software, do you know coding programs? Could you do that on LinkedIn Learning, which you all will have access to once you're matriculated students? Yeah. I could be a psychology major and take coding classes for free on LinkedIn Learning if I wanted to. And if an employer, more and more employers are looking for skills-based applications, they're going to say, well, if you know all these coding languages and you can code just as good as someone who did computer engineering, you may have a good chance of getting that position. Now, does it help to have software engineering courses if you want to be a software engineer? Absolutely. Yeah, I would say so. But there's very few careers where you like absolutely like the major that you picked is going to determine whether you can be in that career or not. Let's see what else we have in here. clinical psychologist. So you could be accounting, yes. If you want to be a CPA, probably should do accounting. Physical therapy, if you want to be a licensed physical therapist, yes, you should do kinesiology. So those, you guys have come up with, I think, 3 or 4. Yes.
So the psychologist, clinical psychology, you could have an undergrad in any, because it's a grad school thing. So you could have an undergrad in any major.
OT, yep, that's a license. So OT, yeah. So 1, 2, how many, Christine?
Like 1, 2,
7?
3, 4. Yeah, probably. Like
okay, so we
license.
came up with 7 careers that you actually probably should major in those areas. So if you want to do any of those, yes, major in those: nursing, occupational therapy, kinesiology, CPA, accounting. I think that was it.
But there's more jobs. There aren't just 7 jobs in the world, or careers rather. Yeah. But
thank you for playing along.
Thank you for playing
really
along.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I always tell my students that like, and as you had mentioned to Anita, right? Like the world of work keeps on evolving, keeps on changing. I mean, the example I always give is, you know, like 10 years ago, there were no jobs in social media, right? It wasn't a thing. And now there's like all of these jobs related to that, right? So, I mean, 10 years from now, we don't know what other opportunities might come up. So does anyone else have any other questions while we have you here?
We answered all of your questions?
Yeah, well, the ones that they typed in. So thank you for sharing your questions. Thank you for staying with us and listening. As mentioned, this session will be recorded and posted on the Admitted Spartan Day website. So thank you so much.
And we hope to see you in the fall or even this summer. You guys will see us at orientation. So if you
or if you sign up for the in-person Admitted Spartan Day on April 23rd. So
oh yeah, we'll have a table there. So
we'll have a table there. So come say hi to me. Say hi to us.
Well, yeah, I'll see you at orientation. You'll see Christine at Admitted Spartan Day. So welcome. We look forward to continuing this conversation with all of you, and know that you have really, really bright futures. And we hope that you're all going to pick being Spartans because it's awesome.